Live from New York, the show doesn't listen to music. Music, over. Takes are the new music. Nick hears a take. He's like, that's music to my ears. Tell him the story.
No, Gianna asked us what our top Spotify Wrapped artists were. And I owed Gianna, like the audience, nothing but honesty, and so I just told her I don't listen to music. I got too much going on, man.
Just at home cooking, just listening to takes.
That is what I'm doing.
Christmas morning, they're opening presents. He's hearing something about Brock Purdy. Oh. Kids are like,
getting ready for the game.
First hour, first things first. Starting with the Cowboys in Detroit tonight. Dallas riding a 3-game win streak. Recent wins over both Super Bowl contestants. The Eagles and the Chiefs. Lions trying to bounce back from a Thanksgiving loss to Green. Facts, Dusty made a new graphic. Okay, neither of these teams are currently in the playoffs and not even really close. Let's start with Cowboys first. So 23% chance to make it. If they win tonight, goes up to 41. If they lose, start looking at vacation plans, 9%. Lions at 30%. If they win, 45%.
I'm
not great, but
surprised
pretty
it would
good.
still only be like 45% would win.
Yeah, because they're in the reason they're in such rough shape is the Packers and Bears, who they're chasing, play each other twice. So so somebody's either going to win both of them, or they split
down to 12 or 9. That's why we're calling this a vacation plans game.
That's what we're calling.
Who you got?
I got Dallas with my chest.
Wow.
All right. Okay. The Lions are not what they used to be. Not what they were last year. Not what they were 2 years ago. And on top of that, Dallas remembers. Y'all came into our place last year and beat us 47-9. And you made fun of us.
Yes.
You mocked us. You attempted a touchdown pass to one of your offensive linemen,
Correct.
Decker, right? And so they rubbed it in the Cowboys' face. And now turnabout is fair play. The Cowboys are playing really good football. The Lions, I know you're going to say, well, they haven't lost 2 straight games in 56 games, 3.5 years. Yeah, but they've lost 3 of 5. Yeah. What's really the difference? Well, the 2 teams they beat, Washington with Marcus Mariota at quarterback, the Giants in overtime, a heck of a game, with Jameis Winston, with all due respect to Jameis, still backup quarterback. That's who they've beaten. So they're not playing well, and they're banged up. All right, we all know about Sam Laporta, but their backup tight end is out too. Amon-Ra St. Brown is questionable. Terry and Arnold's out, which is how they going to guard George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb with Arnold out. I just think Dallas, like the key for Detroit to win would be Jahmyr Gibbs just running well. But Dallas's run defense now with Quinnen Williams is actually pretty good. Look, it's a 2-game sample or 3-game sample, whatever.
I'll take
but
it.
Since he's been there, they were terrible defensively. And look at the rush, one of the worst teams in the league against the run. Now, again, small sample, but second best against the run. And only allowing 21, 22 points a game is pretty good. So I just think the Cowboys are playing much better, Nick, and they're going to go in there and win.
Just quickly to that graphic, this is something Coach Mangini said too, and we drew the line at the Quinnen Williams trade. But Mangini talks a lot about a defense takes a little bit to round into form. Well, we've seen it with a few teams. He's always saying that. So I know we're like, wow, that was magic. But maybe it's like a little Quinnen Williams, a little guys getting healthy, a little getting the scheme. All contributes.
I think that second part is as big as the first or the third. I think the Cowboys, they got a lot of guys back from injury. Overshawn has been really good. He's not the only guy they got back. They also brought in that linebacker from Cincinnati who couldn't play for Cincinnati, Logan Wilson. But he seems to be fitting in. Mm-hmm. Then and Quinnen Williams is a legit difference maker. Like, one can object to the trade like I did and still do, but still recognize he's a difference maker. And Schefter reported 45 minutes ago, a little ominous about Amon-Ra tonight, saying they think it might be more realistic for next week, but he's, quote, one of the toughest guys anyone's ever met.
You have to put that in.
Right. And so
the agent made sure.
So
documentation on toughest.
And so they didn't close. To be clear, he didn't close the door on him playing, but he
you got to go.
Narrowed it.
If you have a 12% chance if you lose, you got to go.
You think he's got to play?
Well, 12%.
The thing is,
it's a vacation.
But he's really limited. It's an ankle.
Wide receiver with an ankle. If he can't get over the pain threshold, then he's just not useful. Like, it's not a lineman with an ankle, especially so.
And it can
and so he might play, but it's, to me, more skeptical than a questionable designation normally would be. With that all said, I've got the Lions.
Oh.
And
wow, I thought you had the Cowboys. Earlier in the week?
I've been all week, and my rationale earlier in the week was I just don't think the Lions are going to go out this way, and I just don't think the Cowboys are going to have the single most impressive 3-game winning streak of any team in football this year. And it is right now the Cowboys are playing better than the Lions. I understand that. I also understand, and this is going to sound cliche, and I don't mean it to, this is a week-to-week league. This game is in Detroit, and this is a game the Lions absolutely unequivocally know they have to have. And we can say, well, the Cowboys do too. But the Cowboys have been playing that game week. They had to have the Eagles game. They had to have the Chiefs game. They have to have this game. And so at some point, you can't tap into that as well as you can in other times. And I agree with you, Brou. The Lions are not as good as the Lions the last couple years. I still feel like the 2025 Detroit Lions at home in a game they've got to have should be able to beat the 2025 Dallas Cowboys. And this is coming from someone that just watched the Cowboys beat their team and play great. And I think George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are a great receiver combo, and this year they've been the best receiver duo in football. Even by that standard, I think they're running a little hot. Like that, they are what they did against the Chiefs, what we saw them do the previous week against Philly. They are due for a quieter, not quiet, but quieter game. And this is a Dan Campbell thing. While I don't love Dan Campbell, the play caller, and I do think they really miss both of their coordinators, I do think that in this moment, he will have his team ready. Go ahead, KW.
I think that you have tomorrow morning, when we do the show, when we do the rundown, you will have a classic 3 immediately wrong.
About this game?
Yes.
Well, that happens.
So you got the Cowboys.
And a classic 2.
Oh, that they missed Ben Johnson?
Right. Yes. That you said early on. This was like when we were doing like predictions week.
Yes.
Where like we don't pay enough attention to the coordinators.
Yes.
And Detroit lost both of their coordinators. We saw it week 1. We're like, oof. Then they steadied the ship, and now things are getting a little bit turbulent again. And now Dan Campbell's calling plays, and he has quotes about like us beating ourselves. We didn't really hear that. So I think you're going to be immediately wrong. But I also think you're absolutely right.
Well, listen, I do think the Lions missed the coordinators. But there's a difference between missing the coordinators so much you go from 15-2 to 10-7 and barely out of the playoffs, and going from 15-2 to 8-9 and eliminated by the first week of December. Like, this would be, we've had a bunch of great teams from last year that could be essentially done for the year this weekend. Baltimore not done, but you would lose all hope that they're going to rally to be really good. But 6-7, the Chiefs are in that spot. The Lions are in that spot. Like,
I think what we're going to find out, because I think if the Cowboys play well, they'll win. Like if they continue to play as they have been, you might say obviously. Yeah. But we're going to find out what they're made of, because in the past, and I've chastised them for this, I don't think they've played well with expectations. Playoffs, obviously, there's expectations. When they got rolled by Green Bay a couple years ago, that was ridiculous, but expectations were high. A few weeks ago, there are no expectations of the Cowboys, right? Even when they beat the Chiefs, it weren't, a lot of people didn't expect them to do that. Yeah. So now, though, it's like, they're legitimately back in the playoff hunt. Now there might be some disappointment if they don't make the playoffs and among their fan base. So expectations are high. how do they handle it? Because I don't think they've handled it well in the past, but maybe Schottenheimer's changed that culture.
It really is a 6-quarter event for the Cowboys. We can talk about all the different changes, all it was. 6 quarters ago, they were down 21-0 to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Look, you know what I mean? Looking like they were about to fall to, what would that have been? 4-6-1 and just be done.
They're out of it.
And then they have one of the best comebacks they've had in 20 years. And then they had another, steady with the Chiefs, but technically a 4th-quarter comeback against Kansas City. And now all of a sudden we're talking about them being super dangerous. They deserve credit. They have been playing great football these last 6 quarters, but it's not a super long sample of it.
Against the spread, Dak, from 2024, 4-13. This year, 5-1. Tell your friends.
You can't be 5-1 against the spread, buddy. They've played 12 games. Leave the gambling stuff to me.
Josh, why are you putting the stupid game on? What the heck does that mean?
As an underdog.
As an underdog.
Oh, okay.
You didn't let me finish.
No, okay.
As an underdog.
Okay,
They play 6 games. What are we talking about? Mid-November.
Head back to Arrowhead.
I read that. You know what? God darn it. I have executives
Read it
leaving.
with authority, too.
Head back to Arrowhead. Texans are riding a 4-game win streak. Chiefs are looking to capitalize on Mahomes' latest 4-touchdown game. Last 4 games, Texans defense has flummoxed some great quarterbacks. The Prince, Cam Ward, Josh Allen got sacked most of his career.
One great quarterback.
What? How nice of you. Trevor?
No.
Oh, Josh. Oh, okay.
Daniel Jones.
Does anybody on here disagree with me? One great quarterback.
I'm trying to be. Well, these are 30 of the best quarterbacks in the entire
and
world.
great pedigree. 2
Okay.
number 1 picks.
Really?
Well,
That's
if
where
you're the
we're going
30th
now?
best
Everybody's
surgeon, you'd be
great.
like, wow, one of the best. The Chiefs need another monster Mahomes game to win.
No. And they better not be relying on it. That is not on the board this weekend. I shouldn't say that. That's disrespectful
on the
to
board.
Patrick. That is not the plan should not be press the Mahomes button a bunch of times. Not when Thursday's practice report is out. We are still without our starting right guard and our starting right tackle, and the starting left tackle just got put on IR. So if you are going to be without 3/5 of your starting offensive line, and one of the 2 guys who is still there is your replacement left guard, the guy who stepped in who's done a good job, Kingsley, but the guy who wasn't even Tooney's position from last year. So it's as far as your ardent offensive line, it's just Creed Humphrey. That's been there year over year, the center. The plan cannot be drop Patrick back 40 times and have him make magic. It simply can't be. He'll get hurt. He doesn't you cannot ask him to throw your way out of this. What the Chiefs need in this game is for the Kansas City Chiefs defense to look anything like the Kansas City Chiefs defense has looked the previous 3 years to this one against an offense that for a year and a half now has been middling at best. And ask Patrick to do 3 or 4 awesome things in high leverage moments. But I would feel differently if I felt he was going to have time.
Sure.
If that offensive line injury report does not change, it to me would be foolish if the game plan is pass heavy. It's got to, even if they are unproductive runs, it's got to be a lot of running the football and a lot of quick stuff. But they have not only a great pass rush, a great secondary. So that quick stuff is going to be hard to come by as well. This has to be a Chiefs defense game at Arrowhead, loud at night, cold weather. That's what it's got to be.
Yeah, I do tend to agree. Look, a monster game doesn't have to happen. He had a monster game last week, and they lost to Dallas.
Yeah.
All right. They are not synonymous. He doesn't have to do that for them to win. And I agree with Nick, because he doesn't need a monster game because Houston's offense is not going to have a monster game. Even if the Chiefs' defense isn't bad, Houston's just not a good offense.
Correct.
They average 21 points a game. C.J. Stroud has not been the same guy since he was as a rookie for now a year and a half.
His first couple games his second year until the lecture that led to the losing. I
don't know. I don't want to say there's truth to that, but that did seem to be a turning point. But whatever the case, The defense for the Chiefs has to carry the day. Now, Mahomes just has to be good. No, not a lot of turnovers, if any. Make a few big plays. I think they're going to have to try the quick passing game, Nick, because I don't think they're going to be able to run that well against them. You know, the running game surprisingly has been good the last couple of weeks, but I don't think they're going to be able to run that well against Houston. And to your point, with 3 offensive linemen out, potentially. We know Josh Simmons is out. Houston has the second best pass rush in the league. They're the only team with 2 guys with 10 or more sacks.
You can't double team just one guy.
Yeah, I mean, they are going, and they played the Chiefs tough last year in the playoffs, even though they lost. That was, you know, they gave them a little bit of a game, more than people expected. This is really, to me, you said it, and it just feels the Texans should win this game, especially if those 2 linemen are out in addition to Simmons. The Texans, if C.J. Stroud just has to have a pulse, even if the Chiefs' defense is good, I mean, you're not going to hold them to 7 points. If C.J. Stroud can produce 24 points, they should be able to win.
20, yeah, maybe less.
Maybe less for sure. So I just think Mahomes has to be solid for them to have a chance.
I wasn't ready to talk about the Chiefs losing yet.
Well, listen,
I wasn't mentally there. Although now I think I'm like, ooh, the way.
So when you look at the injuries, that's the if they had their full offensive line,
I would feel very different. Listen, we saw this Texans defense is not markedly better than the Texans defense at the end of last season when they got to the playoffs, won a playoff game with a mediocre offense there. The Chiefs last year played them in December and beat them soundly and played them in the playoffs. And you're right, Brou, it was consistently like somewhere from a 6 to 10 point game. The Chiefs had control of the game, but it was and what gives you maybe a little more optimism there is that Chiefs team didn't have the receiving core this one does, and that Chiefs offensive line was not, great last year either. So they have had good success against this Texans team. But if you were to ask me what is my last pick of every NFL team available to play in a game where you're down 3 offensive linemen, my last pick would be them. Yeah. I know they don't lead the league in sacks. To me, they are the scariest defense in the NFL. So it's going to take I would change monster to brilliant Mahomes game. Like very situationally great, knowing when to run, knowing when to try to fit it into a tight window. And this is a game for Andy Reid to remind everyone he's still Andy Reid. Like those things, because they are at a major disadvantage on the line of scrimmage when they have the ball.
It feels like a combo of the Broncos game and the Eagles Super Bowl to me. Feels like that's what
well, they don't have that. They can't put up those points like the Eagles did.
That's true. What were you about to say, Bruce?
I was going to say, you said monster game to brilliant game. I wrote down not a monster game, but a heroic game.
Sure.
Similar to you situationally, but just a few huge plays.
Look, Wildes, look what I wrote.
We can read yours, though. This is, I can barely read my own.
I put monumental.
Okay, good.
Finally, Steelers-Ravens. Sunday afternoon, Marlon Humphrey met with the media after practice and said, Ravens, must win? We thought you were going to like that. And then Jamison Hensley tweeted this, which I don't think you like. Lamar not practicing today. Limited Wednesday with an ankle. This marks the 4th straight week where Jackson has missed at least one practice. Tyler Huntley, of course, would start Sunday against the Steelers if Jackson is unable to play. I don't know what to do now, Brou. I feel like you're thrown for a loop.
Well, I think Lamar will play. I mean, he's been sitting out the last, 4 weeks?
They'd always been Wednesdays, though. This is a Thursday, which is odd, but yeah.
If he can't play, they're in trouble.
Okay, the last 4 weeks he has a completion percentage of 56, has 1 touchdown and 5 turnovers.
No, I get that, but he's good enough, and he's still in his prime, where I fully expect him to turn this around at some point. Whether it's this week, next week, whatever. It's like you feel about the Chiefs. Until they're out, you feel like, man, their track record, they're going to turn it around.
You're saying about that for Lamar the player.
He's good enough where I'm just, this is not going to continue. Now, as far as Marlon's quote, I mean, really? Like now? Where was this against Cincinnati? Since a divisional opponent in your building must win, you started 1-5. It's been a must win for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
No.
I do not like this, Wildes.
I know you don't like it.
Yeah. I adore it. I adore this. All right? I want to caress this sentiment. I want to dance with this quote that we must win. Put on a slow jam, Wildes. I'm in the mood. All right? I love that quote.
Break.
You're leaving? That was too much. That was the first time he hasn't tricked you with the misdirection. I saw that. You saw it coming a mile away. You love it, Brou?
Yeah, you adore it. He wants to caress it.
I want to put some Luther on. That's how I feel about that quote. Yes, finally. Where has this been? Now, if Tyler Huntley's the quarterback,
they beat the Bears with Tyler Huntley.
Can I say something weird? I don't know if we're joking around.
I'm not going to be that confident if Lamar doesn't play. But if he plays, I love it.
I understand the idea of course, Lamar is an all-time great. He is going to turn it around. He's hurt. There's every flashing red light says, I'm hurt. Watch the game. I do not look like myself.
And Nick has kind of made this point. It's something in his legs, the ankle, the whatever it is, the knee, lower extremities. He still should be able to throw the football. And if I'm John Harbaugh, you know what? If I know he can't really move like usual, lean into the run.
I don't know.
You got the best running back of this generation, and Keaton Mitchell's okay too. He had an 18-yard touchdown run against the Bengals. Like, lean into the run and pass just when you need to.
Yeah, there's the Lamar being banged up cannot be an excuse for this level of play. And I think Brou agrees with me on that. Like, it can be.
I mean, he's moving okay.
It can be an explanation for your play dipping. It cannot be an excuse for your play cratering. Just can't be. Like, that's not
unless he shouldn't be playing.
But I guess here would be my point. We've all watched this month of football where he has played poorly. He has not, to me, looked like a player. It's like, my God.
Right.
Why is he out there?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's
but
not
the numbers are telling you that.
Right. So is it, and I guess what I'm saying is it not possible that he's just playing poorly? That he's a banged up player that is playing poorly?
I would say this, again, analogyville to Professor Brou. You have an A-plus student. A-plus. You've had 4 tests in a row. He's getting C-minuses.
No, but
step up. What's wrong with you? You get 4 tests in a row, he's getting Fs. Hey, what's going on? Like, these are Fs. This isn't like a C-minus. Like, there's something else. That's the analogy I would make.
I think that. Go ahead.
No, that's a good one. But then if Harbaugh, Lamar, if he's that bad, then you can't play him. And he just looks like he's able to play.
And so
I know,
he's moving fine.
I think that is a legitimately great analogy.
Tough analogy to combat.
But I think you're right. But I also, and sometimes to take your analogy a step further, sometimes the answer is, my parents are getting divorced.
Yeah,
whatever. And sometimes the answer is, I haven't been studying quite as much as I normally do because I'm distracted, and I've been sick. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, sorry that you're not feeling well, but make sure you're putting in the and I'm not saying Lamar's not working as hard as he normally does, but just for the analogy, like that, the circumstances should have dropped me to a C-minus. The circumstances plus my own lack of execution dropped me to an F. So it could be either of them.
I do think, Wildes, I think whatever the injuries are and how they've limited him, I do think it's sapped him of some of his confidence.
That's 100%.
That might be the main thing.
Yes.
That's
he
really
just doesn't have the
interesting.
confidence.
All right, coming up next. Has Giannis played his last game with the Bucks. We discuss next on FS1, the Fox Sports Channel, and Sirius XM. That's interesting. That he thrives on confidence. If he loses a little bit, he's bad.
Yeah, like that.
Giannis goes down with a non-contact injury. Looks scary, but Sham says just a calf strain, 2 to 4 weeks. Brou, the Bucks are in 10th place. They're 10-13. Reporting is, you'll love this, Giannis and his agent are, quote, having conversations about his future. Just conversations, okay? That's according to Shams. Should Giannis just straight up ask for a trade?
Yes. Absolutely. Giannis, ask for a trade. This is getting ridiculous. I read it said the Bucks and Giannis are discussing whether Milwaukee is the best place for him. Is there any question? They're 10-13. They are in the 10th spot in the JV conference. The JV conference where the 2 best teams are without their each of their best players. You know, Boston with Tatum, Halliburton in Indiana, and you're still 10th. Like, they have brought in Miles Turner. They have brought in Damian Lillard. They have brought in Doc Rivers, Kyle Kuzma, if you like, and nothing is working. Milwaukee is a sinking ship with Giannis. All right, this is the difference, Nick. And he's obviously, his legacy is going to be fantastic. Even if he stays in Milwaukee, never wins again.
But even if he leaves, he could get a statue there.
Oh, absolutely. Look, he's been there. This is his 13th year. Kareem was there 6 years, and he wasn't viewed as the bad guy. He gave him a championship and then went to Lakers. And Kareem was on a team that was competitive for championships. They won one, and then they stayed competitive. Giannis been there twice as long, gave him a ring, got a ring.
Yeah.
If he, Nick, the difference for Giannis is if he stays in Milwaukee and plays great but doesn't win again, and I say this respectfully, it's kind of, to me, going to be the difference in his legacy. He'll be probably better than these guys, but still in this tier of Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, that kind of tier. You won a ring, you were an all-time great, all that. If he goes somewhere else and can win championships, I don't think he'd necessarily break into the top 10, but he gets in the top 10 conversation. Kind of on the periphery of the top, you know what I mean?
He and Jokic had identical tracks. And even though Jokic still only has 1 ring, Jokic is consistently playing in these big games, and we look at him as championship caliber, and Jokic's standing keeps rising. Giannis, before he got hurt, what was he averaging? 34, 11, and 6, something insane? Didn't matter. Listen, I agree with a lot of that, and I will take it one step further before we get to these potential trades. I think it's a very good chance, and I hate that it happened this way, that last night was just his last game as a Buck. Because he's going to be out a month. Like, he's just going to be out a month.
He should, because that's what Tyrese Halliburton's injury was.
And the only rehab for a calf strain is to stay off your legs. That's it. And so December 15th is when a lot of guys can be traded. Early January is when the other guys, like the guys who aren't eligible. So in about a month, everyone who can be traded, so to speak. I think it's possible last night was his last game as a Buck, and that's fine. Like, everybody, the lesson in this, it's similar to the Lane Kiffin lesson, which is nobody gets everything.
Right.
And Giannis right now, I think, is balancing, I want to compete for titles, and I don't want Milwaukee to be mad at me.
That's all it is. It's just he doesn't want to be the bad guy.
And listen, most of Milwaukee will understand.
Yes.
Some idiot on Twitter will burn a jersey to get views. Who cares? Nobody's going to look at you as a villain. And if what will make you happiest is competing in the postseason, much less for championships, then you're not going to be able to do it there.
And let me throw this in before you get to the trades. Milwaukee should trade him. Like
they should, but they also want to be villains.
Ready.
They want it. Both parties want their hand forced. I know,
their team is not going anywhere with Giannis. You can get a bunch of young players, draft picks, and start rebuilding. And for your front office, it actually gives you comfort.
Yes.
All right, so now we're going to do a full podcast worth of trades here in about 6 minutes. Let's look
Dusty said we have 9. We got plenty of time.
3 juicy trades, and Nick, you like 2 other ones that we're going to save at the end. We're starting here, Warriors. Here's what it looks like. Warriors get Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Bucks get Draymond, Kuminga, Buddy Hield, and 4 first-round picks.
And these are all courtesy of
ESPN NBA Insider.
And they have been stamped by Bobby Marks to say the CBA stuff works.
Excellent.
So we appreciate that,
All right,
Bobby.
like it, love it, hate it. Go ahead, Brou.
I mean, look, if you could get Giannis in Golden State, I trade Draymond, Kuminga, all that. I have a team I'd like to see him go to, or maybe 2 ahead of the. Look, I'd love this because it'd be great.
It would
if I'm Milwaukee, you're not getting a full star. As much as I like Kuminga, the draft picks won't be very high.
It's an awful trade for Milwaukee.
So yeah, I can get
4
more.
first-round picks? Just because they're so deep.
They're going to be lower first-round picks.
And they don't. And Milwaukee, remember, doesn't have control of their own picks. So them falling apart. They need to stay competitive. Them falling apart has no benefit for them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, listen, the 2032 Warriors pick that's in there, because it's 26, 28, 30, and 32, yeah, that sounds really good. And that could be a really good pick. Steph will be long retired. Who knows what's going on with Giannis then? But that's 2032. So if that, to me, is an awful trade for the Bucks, a great trade for the Warriors. I don't think it's realistic.
I love it. Next up, the city's so nice they named it twice. Controversial one around the office. Giannis and Jericho Sims. Cat goes to Milwaukee, and they get 1 first and 3 swaps.
And by the way, they don't get a first.
How are they getting?
So here's the deal. That first is the Wizards' first this year.
Oh.
That's protected.
Oh.
For the top 10.
Ooh.
The Wizards right now are in their typical spot of dead last. So that would be trading Giannis for Towns and getting 0 additional draft picks. The only way that happens is if Giannis says, I will only go to New York, and Milwaukee abides.
But Wendy,
if I'm Milwaukee and I'm ready to trade him, I'm gonna be like, look, we'll trade you, but we're not gonna be relegated to only dealing with.
You cannot trade Giannis straight up for Karl Towns. No. That's what that would be.
What I think needs to happen here is the Knicks need to find a third team. Because if I'm Milwaukee, Towns is a great player. He's a legitimate all-star perennially, but I don't need him. I don't necessarily, because I'm not going to be that great. I want young players that I can build.
So Cat for the picks to
send
Milwaukee.
Cat somewhere else, a team that is close to a championship, and then get picks from that team. If you can, you got to find a 3rd or 4th team so you can get the picks that you want.
Giannis
and maybe some young talent.
I know you probably want to talk more from a basketball perspective. I apologize if I'm messing this up. If that trade were to happen, the Knicks would be the overwhelming favorites in the East.
Absolutely.
If you swapped out Giannis Cat for Giannis,
and
you could win
they
the title.
now become a championship contender.
You could beat
because I'm keeping OG Anunoby
and Brunson,
and Josh Hart, obviously Brunson, but
Bridges.
I mean that's
a great.
Because Cat, as great as he is a defensive problem, and along with Brunson, so their 2 best players are defensive liabilities. Now you got Giannis. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I bet that one happens. But
really?
I think that's where he wants to go. He's going to figure it out. All right, Brou, you've kicked this one around often. Giannis to the Spurs. Spurs get Giannis. The Bucks get Stephon Castle, Harrison Barnes, Kelly Olynyk, and 3 first-round picks. What are your thoughts on this one, Brou? I know it's your favorite.
This is what I want him in Texas. Whether it's we'll talk about Houston later, but San Antonio. Giannis and Wemby. Now, Castle has been great for them, but De'Aaron Fox is playing really well. And I would probably, if I'm Milwaukee, I might want Dylan Harper instead
would definitely
of Castle.
want. So that's what. Would you do it?
Castle's great.
If you were San Antonio and they said, okay, that trade we will do it, but we are not giving you Milwaukee. Is saying we want Harper and not Castle. Would you still do that if you were the Spurs?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, whatever you
want. Castle is really good. I think if Castle went to Milwaukee, he would become a star in his own right.
Okay.
And Harper can too. So Harper's a little bit younger, a little bit. So I want him.
Well, then if the Spurs are willing to trade Dylan Harper, then I think they can make the best offer. I think Harper is viewed like that. He was the number 2 pick of the draft. They also have those picks to trade. Like they have real assets. And if you're the Spurs, there is the idea in some corners that you don't necessarily want to take a super long view with Wemby.
I think that's fair.
You know what I mean? That like, you know what? Because of his height and the history of players that size, his own injury history, go for it immediately.
Yeah.
Because we're not thinking about 10 years down the road, right? We're trying to do it right now.
All right, you have 2 bonus trades via ESPN that you like.
Yeah, so there's the Houston one, which Brou really likes, and then I'll show you the one that I think is the best offer for both sides. So if we can throw up the Houston one. So it's the Giannis brothers. It's basically for Giannis
for Şengün.
Şengün and a first. Because Van Vliet, will be back at some point, but is out this year. I know maybe this will sound crazy, bro. If I'm Houston, I don't think I'd do it.
Really?
All of a sudden, my team went from young, up-and-coming, exciting, maybe we take the torch from OKC once their players get a little too expensive, to, man,
it's win now.
We better win this year or next.
Yep.
Because when OKC's at the peak of its powers, because KD's old and Giannis is, like Brou said, in year 13. That makes me anxious.
I get that, but I think you're already in win now mode because of KD.
You are in win now mode, but you haven't leveraged everything. Like Şengün's got another 8 years. Like
Şengün is legitimately
Thompson's
great.
not even his full form self yet. Like that would be my concern. But that's the one you like the most?
I don't know about the most. I like the San Antonio one because Şengün is a legit star, and he'd probably be even better in the East. Yeah. What I would do if I'm Milwaukee, I'm saying replace Van Vliet with Reed Shepherd. Now, you might have to throw in fodder to make it work financially.
Yeah, the problem is salaries there,
money there.
Yeah.
But if I can get Shepherd and Şengün, I'm very happy if I'm Milwaukee.
All right, now you have one that I dislike.
Okay, so this is the one that is the best for both sides. Giannis can go to the finals. They've been good without Trey.
Why is that great for the Bucks?
For the Bucks, you get the number 1 pick of the draft from 2 years ago. You get Trae Young under contract when you're not trying to bottom out because you don't have your own picks, and you get 4 firsts. And one of those firsts,
is New Orleans.
Is the New Orleans first. The New Orleans first.
So they could get next year's first round pick. Next year's top pick.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Draft.
So if this happens, Joe Dumars gets a statue in Atlanta. The 4 first-round picks is a little misleading. Not misleading, but it's the most. One of those picks is
like a gold pick.
And here's the other piece of it that I think is so important. That pick that Atlanta has, it is the better of New Orleans or Milwaukee this year.
Yeah.
The Milwaukee piece, it seemed like didn't matter. They have Giannis. But
I'm just vetoing this trade if I'm Giannis.
Why?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Go win the conference.
I don't want to see
really
him in
good.
Atlanta. They do have a lot of pieces. They have put together a nice roster. And I hear you because if I can get the number 1 pick from this year's draft, that's impressive. Trey is a good player.
Can I just make this case in 10 seconds?
I'm with you, though.
I don't care where guys play. I care when they play. I don't care what city you play in. I care, are you playing in April, May, and June? And if Giannis, it goes to Golden State,
Sweet.
And they're clipped in round 1, I would much rather see him in Atlanta playing in the NBA Finals. Why does it matter how big the city is?
Well, now look, it's not. LeBron has proven this, has
Duncan,
overcome
Wemby,
this and winning in
Joker,
Giannis.
Giannis already did
But
this.
I'm saying Jordan overcame and winning in Chicago. But LeBron told me this once, and I think he's right. He said, when he was thinking about leaving Cleveland the first time, you got to look at the organization. He was like, at that point, I don't know, there were 6 or 8 teams that had won championships in the last 30 years. He's like, it's about the organization. And Atlanta has not been a great organization. Now, that doesn't mean they can't turn it around, but San Antonio, Houston.
That's fair.
They have been great
obviously.
Golden State organizations. And the Knicks have been good recently with Leon Rose. So I'm with you. no shade on Atlanta, but
Definite shade.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.